We could always just sing the SpongeBob SquarePants theme.
Let's not. Who lives in a city under the sea? Andrew, Ryan.
Splicer, no splicing.
Splicer, no splicing. Yeah, let's get all these out right now. Any more children's television show themed Bioshock references?
Dora the little girl, little sister?
No, you've already, no.
Always hot and hurried like a rat in a race. Life can fly by at such a frantic pace. Need to freeze the moment, put your worries on ice. We got a plan before you, that's just the spice. Chill out.
Welcome to Everyone Dies at the End. I'm your host, Fred Wood. With me, as well, always, but for the first time, is Levi Sutherland.
Hello.
And our esteemed Mike.
Hey, I don't know why I'm esteemed.
I don't know why I didn't say your last name. I guess because I always fuck it up.
Just like everyone else
Michael
does.
Davos.
God, oh my Jesus Christ.
Guys, we are here to discuss a game that has been met with both praise and ire, and that would be Bioshock Infinite, but more specifically the Burial at Sea DLC.
Yes.
I guess going into this, we should warn everybody that this is a completely, we have zero regard for spoilers.
We will try to keep it within this franchise, and that's about it. Yeah. We're, spoiler-wise, you're fully warned that if you are expecting to come out of this with a reason to go play Bioshock Infinite, well, as long as the story is not the reason, you'll be settled.
Yeah.
So, I guess starting off, we'll sort of explain what this is. Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea Part 2 is basically the last thing in the Bioshock universe, maybe, perhaps?
Or is
Probably.
it the first?
Shut up.
Jeez.
We'll get to that. But more than that, it's kind of technically the bulk of Irrational's swan song.
Yeah. It's okay, so let's just rattle off what happened in Bioshock Infinite. At least try to condense it into a bite-sized portion, because I feel like...
Okay, so no, I can do it real quick.
Cool.
Go for it.
In Bioshock Infinite, you play Han Solo, hired by Dr. Doolittle to go rescue Belle from Beauty and the Beast because she's being held captive by a really pissed off and racist Dumbledore. In doing so, you find out that... Rochelle from Left 4 Dead 2 is leading an uprising.
You're doing a bad job, but continue.
She's leading an uprising, but she's gone fucking crazy. She's infected. And so Belle from Beauty and the Beast stabs her and gets all sad and emo about it. But wait, there's more. It turns out that, Dumbledore is actually Han Solo, and that Han Solo is Belle from Beauty and the Beast's dad, and then...
This is the weirdest fan
they
fiction
drown
I've
you in a
ever
river.
heard.
And the twins from The Shining...
They're all grown up, one of them had a sex change.
And they represent the Holocaust.
Jeez. They take they take Han Solo before he turns into Dumbledore and takes him back to a different time when he actually turns into Dumbledore and makes him go get Belle.
You guys are
Yeah,
assholes.
and Belle gets super pissed. And so she has what is essentially a sentient drill just kill him for no reason.
Well...
Kind of a reason, because he's a huge straight dick.
Okay, so we're talking about Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea right now,
Yeah,
right?
we've progressed into Burial at Sea Part 2.
Let's take a step back and kind
Part
of
1.
be less brief about Bioshock Infinite Burial at
Yes.
Sea 1. Because, if we wanted to, we could say the entirety of the plot in the next 2 minutes, and that would be about the same for the gameplay, because that thing was short as fuck.
Hey.
So what all happens in that? You've got Elizabeth comes in to Booker's underwater agency, right?
Yeah, so Booker DeWitt in the beginning of Burial at Sea.
He's in Rapture.
Yeah, he's a private eye in Rapture he's been there for a while. They don't say how long specifically, but he's been there long enough to have an established life. People know who he is, and he's got a career as a PI. So all of a sudden, this smoky cigarette smoking dame walks in, and she's like, yo, I got a proposition for you. And Booker DeWitt's like, who?
Okay. No, so she comes in with a proposition, and it's to find a girl, and then he figures out who the girl is, and decides only then to take the job.
Yes.
And
I was getting that.
The reason as to why he takes the job, let's just jump in the spoilers. Why was that?
I can't. If I remember correctly, he was raising the little girl, right?
I think so, or at least she was important to him in some way.
Yeah, she was. From what I remember, she was a little orphan girl that he had taken in that had gone missing.
Right.
And so he takes the job because he's like, yo, I need to find out what the fuck happened to this girl.
Could you stop saying yo every time you're taking the perspective of Booker DeWitt?
And so they go on this journey, and you get to see Rapture before the fall, and like 12 people lived there apparently.
Yeah. Super progressive though. They've got gay couples.
They've got two dudes holding hands.
Yeah, it's nice.
So they do that, and eventually, through various discussions and such, they find out that they've got to go visit Sander Cohen, a famous artist who is also a major player in the first Bioshock game.
Okay. Let's take a moment here. So okay. I never played the original Bioshock to completion. I had the story ruined for me several times, and I've read a bit of it, but who is Cohen's character in the original Bioshock?
Levi, do you want to take this one?
Basically, he's the exact same person that you see in Burial at Sea. He's sort of this very, very eccentric artist. In Bioshock, we actually see him sort of kidnapping this guy. In the first DLC, you see him sort of prodding at these two dancers that he's like, no, this isn't right. He's a very obsessive person who wants to, I guess, do art right or something like that. So he electrocutes the dancers. In the original one, he has a man playing the piano, and he is strapped to the piano, and there's dynamite all around him. So he blows this guy up, and that's sort of your first introduction to him.
That is eccentric.
Yes. So he's sort of a gatekeeper, I guess, is the best definition in the context of the first game. So basically, he has you do these various missions, and you're doing them to progress throughout the game, and all the while he's sort of like nagging at you and egging you on and stuff like that. But that's Sander Cohen.
All right. So his purpose in Infinite Burial at Sea Part 1 is that he puts you into the deeper ranks of Rapture to get you closer to the girl that you're looking for.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Then what? You're in the Andrew Ryan's cage, right?
No, you're in Fontaine's. What did he run again? It was a department store.
Yeah, it's Atlas's Fontaine, right? I'm kidding.
Just get it out of the way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Atlas's Fontaine.
So yeah, you're in Fontaine's department store, and you're looking for little Sally. And more discussions. You find a kind of neat vigor. You do some fighting. And then you turn on some valves because Liz has the bright idea to be like, hey,
smoking out this girl.
Smoking out the girl's gonna be rad. And Booker is like, okay,
No, Booker's works. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that because he's a fucking sane human being who's not
right, but he eventually caves and does it anyways.
Yeah, well.
Building to the point. So they get to Sally, and Sally's, kind of freaking out because she's scared, and she's gone under some, little sisterization a bit, and, by rights, she's a child, and she's freaking out.
She's been injected with some Adam, or what was it, sea slugs was how it came about. They talk about it briefly.
You know what?
In
yes,
part
just yes.
It is sea slugs. They sort of touch on that in the DLC.
Yeah.
Actually, in the first game as well, they touch on that a lot more.
Oh,
but there is. And that's sort of the origin of both plasmids and vigors from Bioshock Infinite, because there's a portal between the two, and I think it was Su Chong and Fink.
Yep. Well, it was Su Chong and it was Fink. You're right.
Yeah, it was
Fink Industries. Yes, they were working together, kind of.
Yeah,
but also they were trying to kill each other at the same time.
Is kind of a sort of a Deus Ex Machina for vigors.
But I think we'll get to that.
Yeah. Sorry.
So Booker's freaking out, trying to get her out because he's scared for this girl's life, and Liz is using this as a giant metaphor because Booker is a Comstock.
Yeah.
Right, which we knew going into it. We were confused because of the infinite realities. Maybe he wasn't Comstock, but he was.
So the story is that in one of the universes where Comstock is trying to get Liz from Booker, Liz gets her fucking head cut off and just straight up dies as a baby.
Yeah.
And he cannot deal with the grief, and so he pretty much tells the Lutesses to get him the fuck out of here. I can't live here anymore.
Right.
I need
to
go start a new life.
That's when he goes to Rapture.
And so, they drop him off in Rapture, and he shaves his stupid racist beard off, and
what? Okay. I was like, what?
Goes from being racist Santa Claus to Booker DeWitt again. And then, while he's kind of coming to grips, he apologizes to Liz, and Liz is all angry, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, child, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, but you will be. And then a Big Daddy runs him through with a drill and fucking kills him.
Right. And so up to that point, that is the end of Bioshock Infinite.
That's episode 1.
Part 1. And the thing is that that fucks with the continuity of the Infinite Realities, because it turns Elizabeth into this, multiple timeline assassin going around getting revenge upon her father.
Yeah, bounty hunting murderer that like.
Not only that, but given the parameters that they have established and what they are giving the players in Infinite proper, it's a paradox.
Yeah. Okay. So
a little
the end
bit,
of
yes.
To go,
no, not a little bit.
Okay, fine.
Comstock can't
Explain.
exist.
Okay, to elaborate on the end of Bioshock Infinite, there is a point at the end of the game where all the Elizabeths from all the timelines drown the one.
Except the Burial at Sea one. Just throwing that out there. But
yeah, but like, okay.
No, I'm not saying you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're not right, but that might be important to the non-paradox nature of it. I don't know.
Right, but the thing is that what Levi's saying is that in drowning that Booker at that point, that is the singularity from which all Comstocks come from.
Exactly, yeah. Like
so
that
even
should
if
have
Comstock left the dimension, retroactively, he gets wiped from history.
That's true.
So, like, his entire existence is based on a paradox that can't happen.
Right. Okay. You're
automatically
right unless we're wrong.
Strike one. Yeah.
Automatically, Burial at Sea is based on lies.
Right. Which is a tough pill to swallow, but we waited a few months thinking maybe Burial at Sea episode
they'll do
2
something that,
would make some sense. Like, maybe they could somehow figure it out, but I'm going to spoil this. It doesn't.
No, it's fucked. Like...
They do other weird stuff with it that I guess maybe there are smarter people than or smarter people than us that can tear into it and find the deep.
Yeah, you know,
why
the people that frickin' study temporal anomalies for a living. What are you talking about?
I just mean maybe they found something in the game we didn't see.
Because theoretical physicists are playing Bioshock Infinite.
I'm not saying those kind of people. Never mind. Sorry, continue. Bum. Bioshock Burial at Sea, Episode 2.
Episode 2.
So
Elizabeth is dead now too, I guess.
Yeah. So we wake up to Liz with like some weird dude like playing Russian roulette.
Please stop calling her Liz. That is not her name.
I don't fucking care.
All right.
So we wake up to Elizabeth. That better?
A little bit. Hold on. I'm gonna set the mood real quick. All right. Now we're underwater.
We're underwater.
Yes. So we wake up to Elizabeth with some dude pretty much just playing Russian roulette with her, but all the chambers are empty. And so Atlas is like, hey, stop fucking with her. Just put a bullet in her head. I don't care. And, the guy's like, okay, cool, but he's like, I guess, drunk, high, or both, because he can't chamber a single fucking bullet into a
dropping
revolver.
the bullets all over the place, just buying
the dude
time.
Is just all thumbs in exposition. Yeah. And so, Elizabeth is like, give me the girl, and Atlas is like, fuck it, you'll be dead in a second, I don't give a shit. And then, for some reason, fucking spectral Booker DeWitt shows up, tuning a guitar.
Yep.
Playing his little geek box, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's tuning his little geek box, and he's like, hey... Tell him this thing.
Tell him this thing that will just get you out of this without you knowing what it is.
Yeah, and Liz is like, what? And he's like, just fucking say it. And so she says it, and it's a couple other things, and then a racist comment. And then,
it's a bunch of lies about Su Chong, who she doesn't know who that is, and it's a bunch of stuff that isn't true. And then a racial slur against Asian people.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever, it's Bioshock, everybody's racist anyways, who cares?
Yeah, and then Atlas is like, "Who, buddy? I like this. Go do the thing, and I'll get you your girl."
And at this point, Atlas is Fontaine. I'm sorry, continue.
I was about to just be like, almost, but then I realized that you were doing a thing.
Yes.
And so you're pretty much like thrust into the DLC, playing as Liz.
Also, wait, okay, hold on. That isn't actually the beginning. The beginning is...
I'm sorry, I forgot about the one good part about the DLC.
You're in beautiful...
that's right.
You're in beautiful anachronistic Paris.
Gay Paris.
Yeah, you're in Gay Paris, and you know all these artists, and who's the artist that's there?
Doesn't matter. It's a bunch of paintings from a bunch of different time periods.
Maybe?
No, it's not Lautrec.
No. And also the Eiffel Tower is standing in the background at a time that it wouldn't have been built. So
everybody loves you. Like everybody said, like, oh, bonjour.
Oh, it is like opening of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. And then it goes to shit because you're trying to find Sally.
No, wait, hold on.
Sorry.
I forgot about the most important part.
The most important part
with the fucking baguette.
Dude with the fucking baguette
dancing baguette boy. The best character.
I did not watch that for as long as you guys did because I had the animated GIF and it was pre-pro'd for it, so it was all good.
Oh man, it was so good.
But yeah, so you're going through Paris, and all of a sudden you see little Sally carrying a balloon, and you reenact the beginning of fucking Heavy Rain.
I thought it was a nod to the boy with the red balloon.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, actually though, but it
was the boy with the red balloon, but also in fucking Terrorville.
Yeah.
They did some really. I played it on PC and it was absolutely gorgeous, and
yes,
they did did some really cool visual effects with that entire opening scene. That was easily the best part of the game.
Yeah, it is really well done. The transition from like gay Paris to like horrible destroyed Paris is really cool. But that's it. Like that's really the only.
That's the beginning
part.
So, can we discuss real quick what that was? Like what was it? Was it
believe
like a
that
fictionalization that she came up with in her mind, or what?
Oh yeah, of course. Like
I'm not sure. I
be.
kind of feel like maybe that was it might have been an alternate reality Elizabeth, because the fact of the matter is, a few minutes from what we were originally talking about, that Elizabeth finds a dead Elizabeth. So it's entirely possible that maybe that was an alternate Elizabeth's reality mending with the other things happening in the other universe, and then her losing her powers through all of that. Because also, spoilers, you lose your powers. Your wonderful Elizabeth powers.
Yeah, you can't open terrors anymore, which is dumb. But
I mean, it makes sense, but sure.
Not really.
As a gameplay thing, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, because I mean, obviously she'd be overpowered, but like from a narrative perspective, it's like one Liz dies, now all of them have lost their like what fucking where have we established this before?
Was that what they said in the game?
Maybe
they don't ever directly. That's the thing. They never directly say it. They like Liz finds a dead Liz, and suddenly her pinky's back. Like that's kind of the explanation.
No. It's not that she has her pinky back. It's that she didn't realize up until that point that she had her pinky.
The only thing I can think of is that those were the last two. There was one that just straight up pieced out and went to Paris, and then the other one that went on a full-on Booker DeWitt killing spree.
That actually makes some sense. I mean, it doesn't, but I can appreciate it and move on from there.
See, there's varying levels of complexity within the whole like narrative storyline, and it's all time travel and what is even going on. So
you're dropping into the gameplay proper with nothing but a busted up. What are they called? Not skyhooks, but vacuum cleaners. You're dropping with a busted up vacuum cleaners.
Air sucks.
So you're dropping with your busted up vacuum cleaner, and you've got to be all stealth because Liz doesn't know how to use the weapons. Or
no. She doesn't want to kill.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, she doesn't want to kill, so she gets a crossbow, some trank darts.
2 seconds in, you kill the first guy, no big deal, and then you move
Bingo. On. Yeah, 2 seconds in, you murder a dude, and there's a big daddy, and he's just kind of like. He's just there? Like, what the fuck is... Like, there's no little sisters around, so the Big Daddy's just kind of, like, mooing and walking around.
This is before the Big Daddies had bonded a connection with the little sisters.
Right, no, that's my point. Why the fuck is he even around then?
They were repairmen.
Yeah.
Right, but, like,
they
why would one just
be beginning
like...
Bioshock 1.
No, I get that. My contention is, why is he just romping around the mall area?
I don't see a problem with that because it's just a dude in
the Big Daddies were there to either be special deployment repairmen or to have the bond with the little sisters. They haven't had the bond with the little sisters yet, so therefore they're just special repairmen. The Big Daddy is.
So what do you do in the meantime? You look around for something to do. Moving on.
The Big Daddies aren't autonomous like that, though. There's a logic error in the fact that we have an enemy that is present for no fucking reason.
Maybe he's a security guard. Maybe he's the security guard. Have you thought about that? He did just get the taste for blood. Just fucking murdered 2 people. Assuming it's the same one.
I guess.
In which case, why did he kill those people? But again, moving on.
Going back to episode 1, what?
Too much. Yeah. Huh? So there's a Big Daddy and a bunch of splices, doing their splicer thing. And you're supposed to kind of like sneak around, but the gameplay's so easy to break, it doesn't fucking matter.
I played it on easy, so I don't know.
I played it on... Okay,
this was a freaking cakewalk.
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't see me if I was in front of them.
I played it on hard, and I still did it, because you can literally beat the whole game with this tactic. Get one of the 2 upgrades, or both if you want, for the invisibility vigor.
Yep, I got both. That was kind of nice.
Here's a new addition to the gameplay,
Yeah, which it's a neat vigor in theory, until you realize all you have to do is shoot a wall, let the enemies get close to you, bap them one by one, go invisible every time after you bap one, bap the next guy, rinse, repeat. Takes a bit, but you can beat the whole game without doing anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, we should mention that they severely changed the way that melee works.
Yes.
So the way that melee worked in Infinite and OG Bioshock and Bioshock Burial at Sea Episode 1 is that you hit somebody and they take damage from it.
Yeah, you just straight up fucking beat the shit out of them.
But since Elizabeth is a weak little girl,
I guess
the only way that you can get somebody... it's...
Consider that this is a woman that, like, could knock the shit out of Booker with a wrench.
It seems like them using a antiquated gender stereotype.
This is the most sexist gameplay mechanic ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like again, with a fucking skyhook, Liz could probably take on just
She
about
didn't have
anyone.
the skyhook, though. She had the air sucker.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, that's right. She had a vacuum cleaner, I forgot.
What is that thing called?
The suck hook.
No, that's Bioshock.
I think no, it's called the air grabber. That's what it is.
Air grabber.
Air
There
grabber,
you go.
yeah.
Yep, that's it.
But it's made out, like, the things are cobbled together out of, like, gears and vacuum cleaners. So.
Yeah, basically.
Steampunk vacuum cleaners, right?
But yeah, and she also takes, like, an abnormally large amount of time to cock back a hammer on a revolver, because I guess she's a woman.
I hadn't noticed. Fun fact, I could not remember how to use the weapon wheel throughout the entire game. Like, because it was hold down the E key. So just, like, I would tap E and I'm like, oh, well, cool. So I had the noisemaker and the gas crossbows, and no ammo for either of them, so I played almost the entire game doing nothing but meleeing, which was also just insanely easy because you can just sneak up on people. Like, and they added a good sneaking mechanic into the game. It actually shows whether or not that person is aware of you or how suspicious they are, and that's a fine mechanic.
It's great, but again, you can break
functional.
it. You can break it literally 30 minutes into the fucking game because those 2 invisibility vigor upgrades are the easiest ones to find.
See, I
They
didn't
were the only
like,
things I found, actually.
I got those, but the tactic that is basically game breaking, in my opinion, is the noisemaker bolt, or or just shoot a wall, and the gas bolt. You can literally kill like 5 people at once.
I see. You shoot the noisemaker at the wall, and then
they all gather around it, and then you gas.
That
bolt.
makes a lot more sense than shooting one of them and then having them stare at each other and then like get mad at you and then kill you. No, okay.
Yeah.
I'm there.
But regardless, like all these
you did that way wrong.
Also,
like, regardless,
did you guys die at all when playing through it?
No,
I died once,
Not
and
a
that's
single
and
time.
it's not actually because I was bad. It's because the game glitched. I got stuck in something and I got shot to death.
Yeah. I died twice in it, and it was mostly from not caring and just trying to get through the game as fast as possible at that point. But they play these weird cinematics that are based, and they're like pre-rendered cinematics of different areas in Rapture that are kind of relevant to where you are.
It's such a fucking pain in the ass, though. It takes so fucking long.
Well, yeah. Also, don't die if you can. But like, it was weird that they did these like context-heavy things. I recognize that late in the game they show a broken Vita chamber that hasn't been employed in the rest of Rapture, so that's why you're not just popping out of Vita chambers. But like, it was a weird kind of nonsensical cinematic for you dying and coming back to life, because you don't like come back to life in any real sense. It's just like any other game that has a checkpoint.
Yeah,
they didn't do any of the kind of like patented like the cool shit that Bioshock does when you die and explaining how you come back to life. It's just like boop, dead, up, alive again.
Yeah,
with some B-roll.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're going on the gameplay tangent, but we haven't even gotten to, like, the shit fest of the story.
I think all of it is important, but...
Yeah, no, very true.
I think we've basically finished the story with the gameplay mechanics, because it's all that, and then a fetch quest, and was there a boss battle? I mean, there was the time that you face off against a bunch of dudes, and you're not supposed to be able to, but it's so fucking easy. Where it's like, you have 60 seconds to prepare. Like, okay, could you just send him now? Because I'm ready.
Yeah. I guess it's really about the closest thing that we got to a boss fight, but even then that was kind of fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
And because, again, like, and I was going to say this a bit earlier, but, like, these new gameplay mechanics are kind of cool, but they're obviously, the game was not designed with them in mind. They're so fucking easy to break that, like, it feels like no one play tested them. Like, I don't understand how this game saw release with this many ways to just cheese everything. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the story.
So we're back in the story, and so as you said, you have to pretty much unlock a bunch of shit to find a bunch of dumb shit, and like eventually, the important bit is that eventually you find a Lutece tear machine that Suchong has built, but it's all shitted to fuck.
It's fucked up, so you have to go buy some more, or you have to go find some more shit.
Yeah,
and get a vigor that for whatever reason they didn't let you get it earlier on when you were in that area. So
So you go to get all this stuff so you can unfuck the Lutece field, and because you have to go to Columbia, but why do you have to go again? I can't, like...
I don't think you have to. I think you're just trying to figure... Or wait.
No, because you got to get something for Suchong, that's it.
Yeah.
Because you need that lock of hair.
No, that's...
No, you don't need the lock of hair, you need the other
Suchong does.
That's why you stay there, because you want to come back, and then Suchong's like, no, you got to get this too.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay, here is perhaps...
That was a good little tease there, though, when they were like, okay, well, got the thing, and then you can see through the doors, but you're like, I better not go out there. I was like, oh, really? Are you really just gonna, like, show me, like, through the crack of the door all this stuff that I can't go play with? Like, that's cool. I think that's a really bold use of money, and then turns out that's actually where you have to go. But, sorry, go ahead, Levi.
So, assuming we're operating on... the fiction that they've maybe established and that we sort of cleared up earlier. You are the last Elizabeth, I'm guessing. Is that about right?
That's
a good point. I didn't really think about that thing that I think you're about to talk about. You're one of the last Elizabeths.
Yeah. What is Columbia doing still up?
Hey.
Like, if there's no Elizabeth in that universe...
Oh, that's not what I was going to say.
Booker in that universe, and if there's no Booker, then why is there a Columbia?
Well, sure, all of that makes sense, but then when you're in Columbia...
when you're in Columbia, the game performs a character assassination. Just,
what?
Like, no one dies, but they assassinate a character, and the integrity of a character.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so while you're in there, you come across Daisy Fitzroy, and she's got Fink and... It's Fink's son, right? Like that.
Fink and Fink's son, yeah.
Okay, and Fink's son tied up. And, and for anyone that has beaten Infinite, you're like, oh shit, this is like about to be, this is like right before the realest moment in Bioshock Infinite, essentially.
Yeah.
But she's talking to the Lutesses, who heretofore have never had like a direct sway or direct hand in moving or shaking anything.
Right.
But they're there and they're like, yo, Daisy, in no small words, you gotta die.
Yourself, yeah.
You just gotta die.
Yeah.
And Daisy's like, wait, what the fuck?
You've gotta die so the plot can move along.
Yeah, you gotta die so that like Liz can have a white savior complex and the plot can move on.
Daisy's like, I would never do anything to hurt these people or their families. That would just be wrong.
Violence just begets violence.
Changes who she is.
Yep.
Yeah. Violence begets violence. I'm not about that. And the Lutesses are essentially like, no, fucking shoot Fink in his dumb bitch head and threaten to kill his kid. Make it really convincing
and
because
murder
we
this
need
kid.
Liz to stab you in the back with a pair of scissors. And so, like, there's so many issues here. There's so many fucking problems here. Because, we have the Lutesses, who are now ostensibly the main fucking villains of the Bioshock franchise.
Right.
Because they are directly moving, shaking, and influencing every fucking action in the entire goddamn franchise with direct consequences and direct dialogue. They are telling Daisy Fitzroy, die so that Liz can do the thing.
Yeah, but that was for science.
Yeah, but the thing is, until this point, we have been told that the Lutesses don't directly influence stuff. They speak in smoke and mirrors. They speak in metaphors and, like, non-logic, so that way the characters put it together and figure things out on their own.
Yeah.
So we have that issue.
So the specific reason, though, for Fitzroy to die is so that way, or was for Elizabeth, this person who did not kill people, has to kill this person, or decides to kill this person, and then have her mental breakdown that brings us to the end of Bioshock.
It's a character transformation. She changes from the young girl, the naive little girl, to the, I don't know, warrior woman or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so strange because it really is like, there's not really any point to it.
No, there's not, and that's the point I was about to bring up, because more importantly than the fucking Lutesses, they have invalidated
what they're trying to do is
Daisy
they're trying to
Fitzroy's
force
character and
Elizabeth
her story
into a
arc.
position where
Because
she is willing to kill Booker DeWitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have removed Daisy's agency as a character because they have nullified her character arc. No longer is she this person that is righteous and angry and furious and, pretty much giving in to that anger, that fury, and that righteousness and kind of, perpetuating the cycle, which is described in Infinite proper with a very apt and very poetic Les Miserables metaphor, which is now thrown out the window. And it has taken her into being some just shitty namby-pamby agent of fate who's just going, I'm gonna play my part and do that. No, fuck that.
Right.
Like,
but on the flip side of that, yes, it does ruin the story for Infinite, but then all of a sudden it puts this character, this Elizabeth, into the role of agency because, well, while she just sees that and she's like, oh, she made me do that. Okay, well, let's keep going with the rest of the mission. Like, I guess at that point, yeah, she does have a little bit of, like, agency to her character. But I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that they fucked up on right here at this middle point. But that's really not even what I have a big problem with. So let's try to move past it without dwelling too hard on it.
Okay, because what were you gonna bring up?
Nothing. I just want to move on because like that whole thing is fucked up. It's like it's almost like whoever was writing the narrative for this section was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we fucked with the player super hard right here and made him realize that like it was actually the Lutesses without ever any actual regard for what that would mean.
I was building to that is that it's such a fucking George Lucas thing to do.
Yeah,
it is some episode it is some episode 1 midi-chlorians level of fucking stupid.
It is.
So, we go through that, and, like, apparently Fink has some, like, giant hand clock that he uses to, like, get around his house.
Which is the worst, like, interior design ever.
Okay.
Yeah, like...
That's too stupid for us to dwell on, because, yes, it is the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah, it literally feels like something built around the, like, hey, wouldn't this be cool? Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't because it's not.
Yeah, and it sucks and it's terrible.
It sucks, it's terrible. You go down into a section that's like locked off and there are people down there and it's like, well, who fucking cares anyways? And then you go to another place.
Why are they down there?
All of this is so fucking stupid. Like, do they have to wait for the clock to turn to a certain point for them to get out?
Right. So you get the things, you get back to Rapture, and that's the part where Andrew Ryan's like, "Hey, you a shit."
Oh yeah.
Which blows my mind because like this is
really
at the bottom.
Liked that actually.
We're still I didn't because we're still in Fontaine's fucking like. Why does Andrew Ryan care? We're already at the bottom. We're no threat. We can't get out. Like
yeah,
he didn't like it because you were somebody that was messing around with the status quo. And the status quo was he was in charge, and all of a sudden you proved that there was some flaw to his plan.
Which that's good and well, but again, we're set up in a position where like we can't affect anything at that point, or like as far as Andrew Ryan's knowledge go, unless Su Chong went, hey, they've got a thing that can bring the thing up to us. Be careful.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of is that Andrew Ryan all of a sudden was like, oh shit, you're gonna fuck with our shit.
Yeah, but
that doesn't even sound like his character. So
no, yeah, like why would he care? Like you're not doing anything. You're not like literally you are no threat to him still at that point.
Yeah.
Why would he be like, hey, send like fucking however many of my elite guys down there to
he wanted to break
beat that woman.
He wanted to break her into working for him. Like there was clearly that was a thing.
Which that's I guess to me that's the only.
It is a weak reason, but it's a reason.
But it's at least a reason, which is more than the game's had up until this point.
Cool. All right, moving on. Then at this point, you what?
You beat the shit out of a whole bunch of people. You eventually do the thing to make the Fontaine. Fontaine's department store rise up because you have one of the
quantum particles.
Quantum particles that the Lutesses use to make Columbia rise. And then Font Atlas comes up and he beats the shit out of you and you get knocked out again.
Right. And it's pretty clear at that point, like, she has multiple conversations with herself and with Booker, which is herself, about it, where it's like, hey, listen, he's gonna fucking betray you, and you know that, right? Like, yeah, but I still gotta do it. Like, no, well, okay, I guess, sure.
Like, you could just kill him, but sure.
I mean, like, she's like, I'm not a killer, except that the person that I've been playing for the last hour, like, I have
totally
no problem
fucking killing dudes. Like, I was shooting dudes in the fucking head.
Yeah. Well, once I figured out how to switch back to my pistol, I finally started shooting some people in the head.
Yeah, I was popping off headshots like I was a sniper. Like, just no remorse.
Yeah.
So he knocks you out, and he's now talking about the ace in the hole. And,
the ace in the hole is referenced in the coded messages enough times that it wasn't out of nowhere. But it was just kind of like, well, I don't know what the fuck it is, and honestly, I don't know what it actually has against it. Like, is that how you're going to fight Andrew Ryan? Because why were you looking for the ace in the hole when you had no idea how to get to Andrew Ryan? Like, why was that even a thing you cared about? But, yeah, okay.
And so, Elizabeth is like, hey, I don't know. And Font Atlas is pretty much like, I think you do. You said you were Su Chong's assistant. And
right. Which is like, wait, why did I say that in the first place? Like, there were other things I could have said. Like, I don't know. I know how to get us out of here. Like, that would have been not a lie. Well, it would have been a little bit of a lie, but whatever. Ugh, so mad.
And so they performed this really uncomfortable, like, almost lobotomy on
Oh, yeah, the transfrontal lobotomy. That was fucked up. That was a fucked up scene in a video game. I stopped playing the game and went into the other room and sat down with my fiance. I was like, I don't think I like video games anymore. Because why are they doing that to me? Like, it's not a good thing to do to other people. I don't want to experience this in first person. Like, none of this is necessary. Like, sure, just, like, beat the shit out of me. Like, that I can deal with, not, like, shove a fucking fucking needle in through my eye and try to get it right up in my brain, like
tap through your skull.
Yeah. And then don't do it to a little girl. Just don't. Like,
don't. So they do all that, and eventually Liz is like, "Holy shit, you crazy bastard! I'll get you the fucking thing."
Well, yeah, because all of a sudden she has some memory of the future that she was able to tap into, so that way she could figure out exactly what was right. Yeah, there was another Deus Ex moment,
I guess.
Yeah,
she has her powers, but she can't control it.
Yeah, so Fontaine is pretty much like, "Hey, go to this place and do this thing in an entirely non-combat walking sequence."
Yep.
Because if we do it, turrets will shoot us because they're coded to our DNA. What?
Well,
technology that should not rightfully exist in the fucking 60s.
Shouldn't, but did. Then again, none of it should have existed in the cities. It's all anachronistic. That's not even the concern.
So you go through this extended, boring as fuck, stupid, pointless walking sequence, which is pretty much A, to get Suchong killed, and B, more importantly, to be like, oh, Suchong didn't have anything to do with imprinting the big daddies and the little sisters. It was all Liz, because she was helping the little sisters reenact something that she did with Songbird, where they have to help out the big daddy, and then the big daddy will want to help them.
Yeah.
Because it's all fucking, I guess, nature
I thought that was all
nurture.
fine. I didn't have too much of a problem with that. I mean, it is kind of fucked up to think about, okay, so Elizabeth is the one that united
That's
them with
the
thing. Yeah.
point. The Big Daddy thing is part of a larger point I'm going to make once we get to the end.
Okay, because that's probably where all of my problems lie, is with the ending. And whereas when I played Infinite and didn't get the ending, that was because I was stupid. This time, it's because it's stupid.
Yeah, and so you go in, and the little sister's like, "Hey, Suchong," and Suchong's like, "Yo, you fucking little kids, get the shit out of here, I hate you."
Which was that was literally directly from the script in Bioshock 1.
Yeah.
That was an audio log that you found. It was almost, line for line.
And Suchong hits one of the kids, and then the Big Daddy freaks the fuck out and murders Suchong.
Yeah.
And then you grab the ace in the hole. And so there has been this cipher, like you pointed out earlier, that you've seen a whole bunch up until this point, and this ace in the hole.
But this is the incredibly complicated one, I guess.
Yeah.
It's 4 clipboards that are like a cipher or something like that.
Yeah. And so you get the ace in the hole, and you're going back to give it to Fontaine, and this very kind of dramatic sequence of Rapture being attacked and all this stuff, and Atlas has himself, 2 goons, and Sally. A situation proven by the player at this point that you could easily handle.
Yep, except it's Fontaine. You can't really.
And so it should have just shot the motherfucker.
Yeah.
But Liz is like, "Here's your ace in the hole. Now just do what you're gonna do." And then Fontatlas is like, "Oh, cool, the ace in the hole," and he opens it, and it's in the cipher. He's like, "What does it say?" And instead of doing anything to leverage information out of Elizabeth, he just starts beating the fuck out of her with a wrench. Just fucking beating the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And then she's finally oh god, what's the code phrase again?
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? Yeah, and Fontatlas is like, "Bah, we got the thing, go do the blah, 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 get everything set up." And then he just gives one final death blow. And then they commit one of the bigger heinous acts of the fucking DLC, which is to pull the camera out from the player perspective of the character they're playing to have this touching death scene between Liz and
you
Sally.
thought that was the heinous act? I thought the heinous act was fucking
That's
putting...
the heinous act. The unforgivable act is the everything else.
I thought the fact that they fucking took Elizabeth and put her on the plane where the fucking beginning of Bioshock 1 happens.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. I was hoping you guys knew. Was hey, look, that time that she's looking into the mirror and she's all bloody and shit? Oh, that was apparently the plane. Where everything happened.
The way I see it is that it's kind of like her seeing through someone else's eyes what's going to happen.
Bullshit, because she looked into the mirror and walked out of that bathroom and up to the guy. That was clearly her on the plane. That wasn't somebody else, that was her. And that's what I have the problem with.
Okay, and that's actually building to my larger point. The biggest fucking issue that I have with this DLC is that it implies that Elizabeth is responsible ostensibly for fucking everything in the Bioshock franchise. That is fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. It is 8th grade level Mary Sue to fucking bullshit.
It is. You said Lucas earlier, and that's absolutely correct. It's like...
It's such a George Lucas prequel movie move to make. And it's so disrespectful to the work put in Infinite, the work put in the first Bioshock game. I will even go as far as to say the work put into the second game, problems that game had aside. Like, the whole thing, it just shits all over the entire Bioshock franchise by pretty much saying none of it mattered because it was all Elizabeth. That nothing you did mattered because it's all Elizabeth. That nothing matters because it's all fucking Elizabeth.
Yeah. And that's really the end of it. Like, there are a litany of problems with the game that we didn't even touch on. But they're, like, it isn't to say that the game's without its merit. It does a bunch of cool, nifty things that are nice. Like, it shows you that Songbird was, in fact, a person inside Songbird. And that it was the same concept as the Big Daddies. And they've got that nice little diagram that you happen upon that's the person inside the Songbird suit and stuff, which is interesting. I still don't
know how that works, but
neither do I, because it's
Songbird
pretty obvious.
Is massive,
no, that's the thing. Songbird's scale changes. Sometimes it's much larger, and sometimes it's much smaller. Haven't you noticed that? Like, his actual...
In what context?
His scale in reference to you. He is much bigger in some scenes, such as when you first find Elizabeth and stuff, he's massive. And then other times when you come across him, he's more person-sized, but not the same scale exactly as, say, Booker. And then the video with the young Elizabeth, that Songbird was bigger than a person, but not by a bunch. Like
I get what you're saying.
Like, it was inconsistent, and I feel like that had to have been on purpose.
Well, I think a lot of that, at least within the confines of Infinite, was intimidation factor kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was stylistic probably more than anything.
Yeah. It was stylistic to kind of like make Songbird appear way more imposing.
Which it never was, because you never did anything against it.
Yeah, you never... Really it was all cutscene material where you're interacting with them in a game that wasn't supposed to have cutscenes.
Well, whatever. It did some dumb shit.
Yeah, but like...
It was worth playing. I
don't think so. I don't think Burial at Sea was worth... Like, honestly, because I've had this conversation with a lot of people. I just really would not like to have this DLC exist. Like, it is a waste of hard drive space, man hours, and time. Like, because, and I know I'm really kind of getting on his case, but like, what little good there is in Burial at Sea is so, at least in my opinion, so vastly outweighed by its failings that it's just bad. Like, it is just bad, and I feel bad for playing it.
You're mostly right. I feel like we didn't get the Burial at Sea 2 that we were supposed to get. I feel like we got a rushed product that, I feel like part 1, we also got a rushed product that didn't meet its full storyline. And I think that because they had to kind of not buffer it out, but like they had to bulk it up and add a bunch of shit to make part 2 so much bigger and better than part 1, which I don't know, like they pulled a pretty fucking heinous crime in the first one by just ruining the paradox, or by creating a paradox in the story. But I don't know, man. It was kind of fun at times.
I'm gonna sort of go in between. Like, there was... time travel is a hard thing, especially...
Yes.
Oh, yeah, please, tell us about time travel, Levi.
Time travel is super hard to do. Thematically, I mean.
Oh, okay,
physically.
Cool. Gotcha.
Yeah. To write...
No, physically, Levi's got that shit locked.
No, that's like, like cakewalk.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, it's soups easy. To write a story that functions well as a time travel story that doesn't get in its own way, I don't know of very many like pieces of fiction that do that.
Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there are some.
I'm kidding, I know. And of course that uses comedy instead of trying to tell a serious story. No, you're not wrong. They just, like...
But they did it so bad, though.
Bioshock, instead of being about Booker and Elizabeth, Burial at Sea should have been about a private eye and this girl that have some sort of interesting parallels, but it shouldn't have been those two main characters that already had these stories, that had beginnings, they had middles, and they had very definite endings. It should have been about somebody else.
I agree.
Honestly, I could see. I don't know what
they'd have to change a bunch of the shit that happened towards the end, sure, but like it doesn't make sense for these characters to go through this thing, even from the most fundamental. Like, hey, they can't possibly exist based on the story that you wrote previously.
Exactly.
But if you were to say write a parallel universe where, say, Comstock lives for a while, or like if you wanted to do it congruently or concurrently with the main Infinite storyline, there's no reason that they couldn't have written in two characters that have a not necessarily similar relationship, but some sort of relationship that goes through these same trials. Like they could have done it, but they wanted it to be Booker and they wanted it to be Elizabeth. And I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like what they wanted to accomplish with Elizabeth was sort of this writing her life is sort of like she spends most of it alone. She's very closed off from the world, and once she gets out, her whole thing is that she wants to integrate and help people. And that's, I guess, what they were going for, but it came off as sort of just disjointed and, happenstance and ugh.
Yeah.
And
I really liked her being as intelligent as she was, and her saying things to Booker like, well, yeah, of course, I know about these guns. It's like, I read about them. That's why I was able to just throw you the ammo for the right gun. Like,
right.
I liked little stuff like that. That was supplemental but not destructive to the main story.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny in a very juvenile way when she goes into the porn shop and she's like, oh, I didn't have books like these in the tower. I'm like, I get it.
I get it, yeah.
I don't know. Also, I mean, like, it starts out so stupid, too, in episode 2 with that, like, oh, hey, wait, no, that's me, I'm dead. What?
What?
Like,
Yeah.
That was sort of like a Schrodinger's cat thing.
Yes, I get that. Oh, I get that that's what they were doing fucking throughout. But I feel like they were like, hey, no, just, dude, stay with me for a second. Think about Schrodinger's cat. All right, now that you're with me, what if that showed, like, inside that cat was another box that had another cat inside it that might be dead or alive, but it's the act of observing that. No, I get what they were doing. They done fucked it.
Yeah.
They did a bad job.
So are we going to issue a ruling?
Bioshock Infinite is a fantastic game. Don't.
Burial at Sea is absolute garbage.
I wouldn't say absolute garbage. That's the thing, because, like, it fucks up a lot of theme stuff.
Okay, it is a diamond-encrusted garbage heap.
I would say it is. Here's the thing: if it were any other franchise, this little chunk here, the part 1 and part 2, would just be a mediocre first-person shooter with some decent sneaking elements and some pretty set pieces. But because we look at it through the lens of Bioshock Infinite, we judge it with such a harsher light. So I think that, like, it's fine. It just isn't nearly anywhere close to as good as the game that it was supposed to supplement.
Right.
That's where I land on it. It's fine. It's just no Bioshock Infinite. Do you guys have anything else to say?
How
about that sitting in the sky?
In the head with vacuums.
Yeah.
That's very rude.
So we should all have our own rating system.
Yeah. I give it like 2 out of 8 Thin Mints.
Okay. Mike, thumb up, down, left, right? Diagonal?
Sounds like
thumb in the middle, like pensively, as though I'm thinking to give them false hope before pointing it downwards to let the lions eat them.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So that's an angry down. It's a spiteful down.
Yeah, it's very not angry, just spiteful, just fucking spiteful as shit.
What about you, Levi?
On a scale from pound 0.000000 to pound FFFF.
I was gonna
F. Those are hex codes.
Are you gonna give it a gray?
I'm gonna give it a pound 2F2F2F. So that's somewhere. That's a dark gray.
Wait, is the darker bad or
black,
good?
Well, we'll never know because it's in a different universe now.
You know, in another universe, this game got finished.
Oh, yeah, no, there is a universe out there where, like, the E3 2011 demo is the build we got.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. At the end of the day, we are 3 guys who played a video game. What have we done with our lives? So, I feel like it was worth talking about. Don't you guys?
Yeah.
Yes, no, I think it was worth talking about. Absolutely.
I feel like I came away with something new out of it, not something negative. So, well, no, something negative. New negative. I don't feel like I'm worse off for having talked about this, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been Everyone Dies at the End. I think the next game we'll probably be talking about is Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes 5, the Kojima. I don't know.
The Phantom Zeros.
The Phantom Zeros.
I haven't...
Wait, Metal Gear Solid 5, the Ground Pain.
I haven't played it yet, so the episode will probably be up. It'll take me a while. It'll be at least an hour from now. So
I get it.
So that's been Everyone Dies at the End. This is our first episode. We want to thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. If you want to tell us that we were wrong, which probably will happen a lot, write into us at thebandcast.com/ask.
We also do our main show, The Bandcast, with a lot more jokes and a lot less spoilers. You can follow us at our website, which is also at thebandcast.com. We'll be back with another episode sometime soon for you guys. And
the bomb was in her vagina. Wait, what?